See, it's very simple, guys. Your success in NEET PG depends upon the number of times, the number of revisions that you have done a few months prior to the main exam. Thousands of students are preparing for this NEET PG exam from the MBBS years itself. You might have joined a coaching class, you might have watched all the main videos of a lot of platforms to get into your notes. But if you don't revise, if you're not able to go through the entire syllabus in the last few months of an NEET PG exam, then all that effort, whatever you study in MBBS, whatever mental stress you've gone through during internship to become a doctor, that will be a complete waste. And I'm here today to reveal to you the ultimate revision strategy for NEET PG. And if you just see this one video, I'm guaranteeing you I will give you a few principles of how to go about getting into your own NEET PG revision strategy, which is not going to be a timetable that you can just cut and copy. I'm going to explain to you the principles of how to make your own personalized NEET PG revision plan. So stick into this video right up till the end. So it's a very common misconception that revision means rereading your notes, and it is the most faltu strategy in this entire world, because there are 19 subjects that you have to read. If you even spend like a month rereading 19 subjects twice, okay, you're not going to remember it, because rereading your notes is not an effective way of studying for an exam. Because when you're rereading, your brain doesn't know what is more important, what is less important. The best way to revise a particular topic, a particular subject, is knowing what is important in that. And for that, you only have one source, and that is previous year questions. See, there are a lot of apps, there are a lot of Q banks, okay? And those Q banks are designed by those coaching platforms to make it very vast, to market it in a well manner. But what you need at the end of the day are to know those 80 to 90% previously repeated topics. And for that, you have the PYQ based app called the Reflex app, developed by our own Dr. Aditya Gupta. So if you are stuck anytime, you don't know how to revise, and you just think that the most common solution is to reread your notes, then you are making a big mistake, and you will only realize that you're wasting your time. So just open the Reflex app. Go through the previous year questions of a particular subject. Even when you're bored, right? Even you don't want to study a particular subject, you are just into this big log jam in your brain that you cannot study something. Start solving MCQs. Even if you are repeating the MCQs, it's okay, because every single MCQ that you do, you are always finding new information. See, during the previous iteration of your pre-YQs through the Reflex app, you will notice something, and you will note it down into your book, okay, and you probably know it. But when you solve the question again and again, right, it solidifies concepts around the PYQ into your brain. For example, if you're doing a MCQ about primary biliary cirrhosis, okay, a very close relation to that is a primary sclerosing cholangitis, and it's very common for you to confuse which antibodies are prevalent, what is the pathology of it. So you need a concise source. In the Reflex app, you have a very concise explanation of the same MCQ, the comparison, the tables, and only the relevant information. You don't have to buy out the entire explanation of the PYQ. You only need to extract that amount from the PYQ that will be useful to you in the main exam. And that is where the revision happens. Your revision will be a very high yield revision. It will not just be going and rereading your notes. See, there is a scope for rereading your notes, okay? And it is not now. It is not 80 days, 90 days prior to the exam. 80 to 90 days prior to the exam, you have to cut down. You have to cut down from the big chunky notebooks into the small notebook that you have to do. You may have used different methods for this. You can rewrite your notes, okay? Not the entire bit, but only the ones that you forget, only the ones where you have to buy out something. You can maybe rewrite those notes. What you can also do is pick up your revision notes from some other source and give a read of that revision notes. Put only the by-hearting some things into your revision notes, okay? This next 1 month, 1.5 months, you have to have a plan to concise your notes, okay? Let's say you're using main notes of a particular source, okay? Pick up the revision notes of the same source, okay? This is for those people who have not got their notes ready, okay? get the revision notes and just annotate concise from your main notes into your revision notes. See, while you're concising, you're doing one revision, and it is going to be a high yield revision, because when you concise your notes, correct, you are automatically trying to filter what is not important from what is important, and only those important things you're actually putting into the revision notes. So you don't think that you're wasting time when you're concising notes. It does not really matter, because at the end of the day, 1 month prior to the NEET exam is when you'll be rereading your notes. And when you're rereading now, the difference between rereading notes now and rereading notes 1 month prior to your NEET exam is that when you reread your notes 1 month prior to your NEET exam, it's a high yield revision. You are just familiarizing yourself with the topic at that time. You have all the content with you. You just want कि एक बार आँखों के सामने से निकल जाए. That is your aim 1 month prior to the exam. And this, the next 1 month to 2 months, is your preparation phase, so that you reach that phase of nirvana. So that you reach that phase where you can just glimpse one particular topic and you know that you know it. That if some MCQ comes about it, you can eliminate 2 options from it and give a shot at the remaining 2 options. So that should be your goal. Second thing is that you need to perfect the art of images. See, NEET exam has changed in a way that they're going to ask you a lot of images, okay? You'll never find the exact images what they're going to ask you in the exam, okay? So you need to have a good conceptual understanding of what exactly is in front of you, what you're looking at. And for that, you need to refer to my short that I made about the WhatsApp groups. So this is a game-changing way that you can screenshot the images that you made and label them, bookmark them into 19 different WhatsApp groups per subject. Seems like a big task, okay? But when you want to revise everything finally, right? When you want to revise the entire syllabus, you should not be confused. You want things in an organized manner. So you need to screenshot things, you need to screenshot images, tag them. For example, if you are going to screenshot something like a granuloma, okay? And the different types of granuloma, right? Now that I have forgotten it, but the different types of granuloma, 5 to 6 different types. So you screenshot one type of granuloma, let's say stellate granuloma. You screenshot it, you put it into your WhatsApp, and you label it as stellate granuloma. So next time when you want to revise granulomas, you simply use the WhatsApp search feature and you type in granuloma, and you automatically get the images in the different WhatsApp groups related to the granuloma, and that's how you can revise much more efficiently. For more information, I will link the short down in my description. You can go ahead and watch that. The third big mistake that people do is that they don't answer grand tests. See, grand tests should not really define your ego. It should not define the worth that you are as a person. A grand test is supposed to give you a real life simulation of what the exam day is going to be. See, do not get tied down to your grand scores, okay? I know it's very difficult, because during this NEET PG preparation phase, correct, you have no idea where do you stand in this preparation, where do you stand among 2 lakh people who are going to answer this exam, and you falsely think the grand test is that benchmark. Grand test is that one thing that's going to define you, how you are going in your preparation. See, grand test is answered by so many people. It is answered by people at different stages of their preparation. You know, in cricket we often notice that a particular team is doing so well for 80% of the entire game, but that last batsman, that one bowler just comes and takes the game away. Believe in yourself that you can actually be that person. Forget about a grand test scores. If you're doing good, remember that there are people who have done amazingly well in grand tests but have failed miserably in NEET PG. And if you've done weak in grand tests, understand that there are people who done weak in grand tests and have scored amazing marks on the day of the exam. It all depends on how you adapt yourself to a very stress-induced environment that is NEET PG. Okay, so you should do grand tests, but only as a practicing tool to put yourself in that stressful situation. And you will tell me, the more you are in a particular stressful situation, the more likely you are able to handle it the next time. Correct. So for example, the first time you did an ABG in a patient, your hands will be trembling, dude. Like, you feel the radial pulse, but you don't know how to poke, where to poke. But now, as post interns, when you've done more than hundreds of ABGs, you know that even if an ABG takes some time, you will get it done. And that is exactly what you have to face. See, I tell usually, if you're in the ballpark of 130 to 140 correct in the grand test, okay, that is okay. You are on the right track. Because take any platform and take any platform grand test, you typically would score around 130 to 140 even 10 days before the exam. And the extra edge, the extra revision that you do in the last 10 days before NEET PG exam, which I have already made a video about, I'll link that in the description as well. That last 10-day revision will get you 15 to 20 extra questions correct in a NEET PG exam if you do the last 10-day revision very well. One more big revision mistake that people do is that they will jump platforms. Supposing they are not scoring good in grand test, if they don't feel good about a particular platform, they will entirely switch the platform, man. They will entirely select a different resource. Like, please don't do that. You are better with what you have studied because you have a photographic memory of it. For example, I have suggested first aid in a lot of my videos, okay? But if you're doing some other resource and you are already accustomed to it, you don't switch it, dude. You don't use first aid just because I have told you or just because some of the YouTuber has told you. First aid worked for me, that's why I'm sharing it, okay? So don't use first aid, don't use some other resource just because somebody else has found it useful, some other YouTuber has found it useful. See, ultimately, we all know that we have to study this particular syllabus. We all had to study Archit Balur for final year MBBS. But the way you studied was different, correct? The way you presented the answer was different, correct? So add your own tadka to all the resources that all of us YouTubers tell you about. You have to have the guts to prepare your own strategy. See, in the real world, you're just going to be thrown with resources and you will have to figure it out. You will have to make those mental connections to find out your way, to navigate your way. You're not going to be spoon-fed in the real world, and that is exactly what NEET PG prepares you. The studying of those 19 subjects, how smartly you approach it, is going to determine the success in this exam. You can only take my advice as a guiding tool about how you can avoid doing certain things, those obvious mistakes, and I have made an effort to highlight those obvious errors in this particular video. So another few revision mistakes that people do is that they will start reading new content a few days prior to the exam. See, whatever you read so far, you have read so far, okay? Don't do the mistake of starting something new a few days before the exam. Simply because you haven't developed the photographic memory, you don't even know whether it's important. Don't get into this FOMO. So the last 90 days before the exam, just a few days before the exam is when you should not be into FOMO. Disconnect your Instagram, disconnect your YouTube, disconnect yourself from society, just get into that mode key. The next 90 days, this is my goal. After that, I am going to do mazai mazam, ashy ash. I'm going to enjoy life. See, you have to work like a lion. Next 90 days, you are going to hunt your prey and then enjoy it for the next 3 years during residency. And that is exactly what I want you guys to do. After this video, you're going to concise your notes. You're going to start revising your previous year questions. You're going to start giving grand tests every once a week. And I've told you already how to revise grand tests. I will link the video again down in the description. See, this is a no BS video. This is a no BS channel. You are going to select the right resources on this channel. You are going to revise from those concise sources. You're going to give those revisions. You are going to solve PYQs and only PYQs in last 1 month of exam, and I'm going to convince to you that PYQs are the way to excel in this exam, no matter what other people say. And if you want a detailed explanation of how you can go about using PYQs, refer to all the videos down in the description, and go ahead, chalk out your plan right now after this video, how you're going to integrate PYQs, concise your notes, and you're going to revise. And trust me, at the end of the 90 days, when you have 30 days remaining for the NEET PG exam, you will thank me. because concising your notes, using PYQs and concising your notes, I cannot stress upon this more and more on this channel, because you simply have a lot of wrong influences on YouTube, and I want you to avoid the mistakes that 99% of all the NEET PG aspirants are making and are not getting to the deemed colleges. I don't want that to happen to the viewers of this channel. I will be with you through this entire journey. Let me know down in the comments if you want a particular help in a particular thing, and I will definitely make a video or a short about it. I will see you in my future videos. Bye bye.